Hi guys, it's me, Hail Mary me to all you. Is today we're going to be talking about the update to the things that Lumi and I were talking about in our informal chat. We did put on a new fan and the power supply on the computer, but the power supply decided that it wanted to cash out, so it shorted out, burst into flames, and said, "I'm done." Unfortunately, he also decided to take the main hard drive that was the holdover MP3 web server personal documents files. Well, the main ones on Pink Rose are being held hostage in an incapacitated hard drive. Now, I contacted Drive Savers, and they said they'll look at it for me, and depending on what is wrong with the drive, it could cost me anywhere from $700 to $2,700, depending on the kind of repair needed. They're going to, they offer me, give me a free assessment to look at the drive. They're not going to charge me to ship the drive to them, and not going to be charging me for the initial assessment, and they're not going to charge me to ship it back if I choose not to get a service from them. I think the problem is more of an electronic issue than an issue with the rest of the system. I think that the platters in the drive are fine. You can hear that the drive starts to spin up, but then when the SCSI tries to access it, it says device not ready, which tells me it is probably an electronic issue on the board itself. So if that's just the case and they're able to restore the drive to working condition, I'm still going to ask them to back up the hard drive to another hard drive anyway, so that I can get things working in the near future. That's what we're going to do. And by the way, I'm also modifying that original case that was holding the old Pentium 100 board. I'm not going to go into all the details here of what we're doing, but in short, what we're doing is the board. I've been using the board that's basically it's a basket case in its own right. It's got blown caps in it and everything else, but that's okay because it's an ATX board. I'm using it as a template to see where all the screws line up, and they line up very nicely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to acquire an inexpensive rotary tool and start the process of modifying the original AT case to hold ATX motherboard. I have an ATX power supply that will work with the old Pentium 233 MMX machine that we already have. That one has the original power supply with it too, but we're going to replace that power supply with a power supply that is a little bit newer and also has a little more current available to it. Instead of the 150 watt, we're going to go to 250 watt, or actually 200. So that'll be a good start up. It's only a 233 MMX for right now, but that's only because that's what we have here. Certainly for web surfing and things like that, that should be fine. I don't think that's going to be a big issue. The big issue I am going to be running into, of course, is the time consuming of making all the stuff connect, plug in, cords got to be wired in, and of course there was some case modifications that has to do with electrics as well. For example, the original original AT power switch would just switch in and out the mains voltage. Got to replace that with an ATX power switch. One case that was part of the basket case motherboard I told you about, there was a perfect little solution in there for that. It was actually a little button with its own little clip-on holder riser. Was able to mount the clip-on holder riser into the old tower case, the Gateway 2000 tower, and it fit. with a little bit of modifications. So now technically I just got to make some more changes to the electrical connections on it, and then it should be all set to go. And once the back is cut for the ATX plate, it should be pretty much ready to go. I will be doing a video on that as we go. Obviously, I will show you the finished product. I'm not going to sit there and show you all the case mod steps that we're doing, because it would just basically bore you to tears. So let's just say it's looking at the situation, it looks like it's going to be a relatively straightforward process. It's just going to take time to cut the case and deburr it so there won't be no sharp edges. Then line up the dead board in it to see if all the ATX connectors and PCI slots and everything line up like they're supposed to. And if they do, then we'll just go ahead and assemble the case. Then find them, because it already has a working IDE hard drive in the case. It's only 1 gigabyte for testing, but that's fine. Drop that in there and initialize that and see if it works. Because right now, the only SCSI hard drive we have in here right now that is working, I don't know where everything is right now. I'm still finding a lot of pieces are kind of scattered between here and nowhere. So give me some time to go digging through to find the right Ultra 160 cards and all that stuff I want to put in there. Make it better. I also increase and upgrade to SATA as well to allow us to use some of the newer serial ATA protocol drives as well. So there's a couple ideas that I'm experimenting with right now, but because of economics, expense, time. Oh yes, I did say about the drive savers. I let them know that I don't need that drive back right away, because I don't. If holding it onto the hard drive for about a month's time, it's going to result maybe me getting a lower price for the work, I'll do it, because obviously right now the case isn't going to be ready until probably around July or August anyway, when I'm done cutting it and fitting it and plugging it in and buying an upgrade hard drive, because obviously that hard drive at this point is non-operable. So it's not going to be a matter of, gee, it's just going to wait for the drive to come back and it's going to be in perfect shape, it's refurbished, blah blah blah, but it doesn't work that way. But it would be nice. I did find a couple bigger hard drives in that 143 gigabyte SCSI Ultra 160 or Ultra 320 drives that would be fine for the case once everything's put back together and it's working. So that's a future project to get the rest of the network working and online, and so that's where we're gonna go. What do you think, Lou? I'm not really into this technical stuff. Michelle's always coming up with these ideas, and I get start going, oh no, I don't want to deal with this. By the way, we also been looking into the Ustream or your listing problem. Yes, thank you. We'll bring that up real quick. We don't know if the problem might be with the iPhone 3GS. He said he tested with a 5S, and the IT administrator said he could not duplicate the problem that we're having with the 3-minute playback and then it loops. So we're thinking is maybe the iPhone 3GS may have problems either with its software or maybe there's just not enough transit program area, which on an iPhone is only like, what's it, like 64 megabytes? Yeah, 64 megabytes. So in that case, it means that we're going to have to work on a solution to that problem. But for right now, it looks like everything is working at this point. So I think that as far as Michelle's project goes, I think it was more of a positive experience to finally get into that case and start tearing the stuffing out of it. Well, it's dirty. No, I know it was dirty. God, your hair turned gray. I know the dust was kicking up in the power supplies. The inside of the case was a total mess. It was full of dust bunnies. It was just nasty. So I cleaned out some of it. I didn't get it all cleaned out, but I got it cleaned out good enough for right now for getting things started for the renovation work. And there was just dust, and more dust. And so we took the whole case apart. We disassembled everything. You know, like Johnny Five would probably say, disassemble. Johnny Five, not disassemble. Well, Johnny Five is now in pieces. As I had to do it anyway to make to modify the case for ATX, as the original board that was in there had to come out. By going with an ATX form factor case, the boards are smaller. Yes, they are. That means that even though I have 6 slot covers for 6 PCI cards and things like that, there is no motherboard I could find at a price I'm willing to pay that has 6 PCI slots. So the cases we're going to choose, we're going to have like 3 PCI slots, and then it has an HAP video card, even though it has a built-in video on it as well. So we'll be able to at least get the computer working. Because remember, we didn't use it for much. It was mostly just running the web server, serving web pages, and things like that. Since we already have a computer, that's pretty much is a perfect candidate. We're going to use our computer right now and put that together. And so that's what we're going to do. I think it should be very interesting to see how that works. But my one question I have is, what's that? That original ISA case, or that ATX case, had a ISA, or has an ATX backplane that is held together in a different way. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Lou. We might need to mod it. But trust me, the case that's coming out of was a good case. It's just so scratched. It's dirty. The switches stick on the controls. Maybe a bit easier just to go ahead, like I said, and just totally got the whole case start over from scratch. And you know, that's what we're doing. We're taking it pieces and fixing it as we go, one by one. And so once it's all done and configured, it'll look pretty cool. And let's be honest, the original case that this Pentium 233 MMX board is coming out of is just too tiny to really hold the kind of stuff that we do with it. I mean, I got a Gateway 2000 tower that is huge. I know. I want it live. It's big. It holds lots of hard drives. It's got lots of storage capacity. Really, really, it served us well. I mean, the computer motherboard, as far as we know, is still fine. As far as we know. Of course, we don't know how much damage the power supply shorting out and stuff could have done to the motherboard too, but let's assume that the computer potentially might be okay. Okay, could be. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to finish fixing it up and get it online. So probably in about a month or two, Pink Rose, dhis.org, will be back online again. And also we will need to get in contact with the people at dhis.org and find out if I can find the DHID file that I need to update DHID daemon so we can keep getting the internet working. I thought I originally copied it to my iPhone or to my eMac, or then I eventually copied it to my Power Mac. Then I, you know what I'm saying. So it might actually still copy DHID. Might actually still already be here. I'll just have to look for it, and we'll figure it and get going and see how it goes from there. So we'll talk to you soon, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends, and let's not forget to subscribe. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.